distant sun, where gravity and grit have just begun. 1,000 light years from the earthly clay, the crack of thunder leaves the cosmic play in the planetary.
Hi everyone, I'm Lenny, and welcome to a preview of episode 2 of People Weekly. Mike is currently on assignment in Crystal Lake, but we did not want to leave you without something this week, so we are going to give you a preview of what's going to be happening next week. We are overwhelmed with the response we had from the first episode. Mike's phone has been ringing off the hook with stories and content coming in. I've been getting fan mail from very neat places for the ladies of Yuma. How do you do? But next week we will have power rankings, the mailbag, the headlines, all the talk about a very, very active trade deadline, and digging through the fallout of episode 1. We were not expecting our interview with Joe Riley to stir the pot as much as it did, shaking Bakersfield to the core and maybe even Peba. As it spreads across the league, we wanted to make sure that everybody who's now been pulled into this controversy to have a chance to speak. So not only is it a teaser, but we do have a very special guest. We wanted to make sure that the GM of the Nihama Ghost had a chance to actually talk and make a statement about some possible allegations coming his way. So here is the interview. Thank you, Dan Vale, the GM of the Nihama Ghost and former GM of the Bakersfield Bears. Dan, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Lenny. Long time.
So, yeah, it's been a long time coming, my man. Both my predecessor in Bakersfield had some great success, such great success that I felt the need to dismantle it down to the bare bones and rebuild it from the ground up. What was it like watching that happen in front of your eyes while you were building a championship team in 3 years?
Well, it was not a championship team, right? I was, we had made some changes, and we made the playoffs a few years in a row. We were pretty pleased with where we were headed, but we got the opportunity to come back home to Nihama, and so we definitely wanted to do that. My family and I were excited to do that, and I don't know if you as you recall, of course, there was an interim GM between you and I. He made some changes as well. So you had there was a lot of turmoil because I was only there for 2.5 seasons. Yeah. And before then there was a lot of turmoil before me. And so Bakersfield went through a lot of transition until they finally got a stable GM in you. And so that's that's where we're at now.
Mike is on assignment today. I would just like to note to everybody watching that Dan did call me stable. And that's a big thing that Mike would never say. You do talk about turmoil. You talk about, leaving after only 2.5 seasons. Now, there has been some things since our first pod, some fallout, not only coming my way from Joe Riley's comments, but now you have been brought into the fold, and I wanted to make sure that I gave you a chance to address the public. Here on People Weekly, we want to make sure that we stay up to date with the hottest topics, and we ask the tough questions. Could your departure have, there was a lot of things going on with Bakersfield, and the Crystal Lake manager, Steve Hott, has called out some issues with Bakersfield. Do you have any comments on that?
Well, it's not entirely surprising. As the public is aware, I took over in Bakersfield in the middle of 2028 during a very strong campaign, very pitching dominated campaign, and when I went on, I was happy to take the role. I was returning to PIBA after a long absence, and it was a very exciting time for me. I got to compete with the Evas, who ended up winning the championship that year. I got to compete with Aurora, with an all-time organization there, and
Yeah, big rivals.
did some good battling during those following seasons. But when I took over, the pitching staff was just phenomenal. So I didn't want to tinker too much with that, but there was one outlier in that, and that was Steve Hott. And we were trying to be patient, and we wanted to give him his opportunities to right the ship. He joined the Bears in 2026, and he was productive, but he was having an off year in 2028, and we were prepared to let him try to right the ship a little bit, but there were a few incidents that happened in the clubhouse, outside of the clubhouse, never really made any headlines, that were making some of the players and some of the front office, myself included, a little uncomfortable. And so I don't want to get into drag anyone's name through the mud or anything like that, but some of the decision was baseball, some of it was not baseball. The decision to waive Steve Hott that was my first action, actually, I took as the GM.
All right, so the waiver wire did come up, and then he went on to play quite well after leaving.
He did have four games appearance.
Yeah, and that, I mean, now again, not dragging anybody's name through the mud. 4 really, really hot games in Florida before another trade, or a movement, I believe. Right? Am I saying that right? To Duluth? Was it?
I don't remember how he made his way to Duluth. I think that might have been the following season.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that the article that came out is a little incoherent. A lot like the player in question that I'm dealing with. You can't really find the linear line. Now, Dan, I'm not going to let you off the hook, and I'm also not going to let myself off the hook. I promise everybody, all you faithful followers of People Weekly, that I will be addressing the Joe Riley issues, not to mention his name because he may appear behind me. But Dan, Steve has said that there may be a place and time for more info to come out. Does that worry you? Does that bother you at all?
Well, I'm always very interested to hear what Steve has to say. He's had some very interesting things to say in a lot of his public appearances. I'll remind some people of his retirement interview. That was an interesting time. He went missing for a little while, as I recall. But that's neither here nor there. He's having some really great success in Crystal Lake. We wish them all the best. We're enjoying the competition with them this year. We're all looking around the top seats in the playoffs if we're to project it out from where we are right now. I think Crystal Lake is freshly in the number 2 seat behind Shinseki, and the Ghost following closely behind. So hopefully we can all keep it up, and we get to battle it out a little bit in the playoffs. Yeah.
Do you think there's any, because as you said, you hinted at it, and we won't dig into Steve's personal life too much. Do you think that the boldness is coming from the success he is finally having, the resurgence of his career?
Well, if it is, then more power to him. I don't think he's ever lacked for confidence. I'll put that out that way.
Neither did Joe. Joe's always been very confident. Very confident, as we saw. My last question really is, thank you, A, for coming on and addressing these tough issues, and B, what's it like to be competing in the top seeds? I just would love to feel what that's like. What's that like?
It's a little stressful, to be honest.
Oh, really? Heavy is the head that wears the crown, huh, Dan?
Well, and you see what happens.
Well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate you, and I hope we get you back soon, and maybe we can sit down and discuss in detail a little bit more about you and the Ghosts, your Bakersfield past, and if anything else comes to light, I hope you do choose to join us again.
I'm happy to, anytime. Best of luck to Bakersfield and Crystal Lake.
Hey, and same to you. The Ghosts are a great team, and what you've done down there is quite amazing. Good job, my man.
All right, thanks.
And there you have it. Dan Vale speaks out against the allegations coming out of Crystal Lake. Thank you, Dan, for joining us. Make sure all of you stay tuned for a full and action-packed episode 2. And Mike, my man, I miss you. I hope you're having fun out there at Crystal Lake. We'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.
The crack of thunder leaves the cosmic play. In the planetary extreme baseball alliance, we defy the stars with bold defiance. The spreadsheets bleed with cold truth. From veteran grit to the fire of youth. The leather pops in the vacuum script. Watch the spinning orbit of the curveball dip. Tune into the frequency of the game, where every heavy hitter carves a name. It is the podcast of the solar fields, where the deepest mysteries are revealed. Unmissable sights in the void above, for the absolute sake of the sport we love. Sit down with the titans of the mound. Hear the secrets where the dreams are found. Interviews that pierce the silent night, bringing every strategy to light. The percent